Precious, how are you doing? Welcome back.
Okay.
Um, just so you're aware, again, I'm just going to go over confidentiality with you. Anything you say will remain here, unless, of course, you are a harm to yourself or others. Then I am a mandated reporting. I have to report it to the right authorities just to keep you safe. Just to go over our last session, you had stated that you were having trouble sleeping and that there was a lot of noise in the home and you couldn't really get a good night's sleep. So you would wake up and then you would sleep at odd hours of the day. We did assign you some homework. However, although you were able to do some of the homework by trying to at least prevent any activities done on the bed, you weren't able to do a consistent bed schedule. For our second session, you had voiced concern with a romantic interest of yours because he was not communicating with you the way you felt he should. We had agreed on some homework as well for you to come up with some things that make him upset with you or make you upset with him, and then write down how you react and what are ways that you can change those actions. Were you able to do any of that homework?
Yeah. So I did take your advice and I did reach out to him.
Okay.
And then I found out that assuming as looking as you and me, he was sick, which is why he didn't text or call me.
Okay.
And he was delirious because whenever he gets a fever or whatever, he just becomes a totally different person.
Mhm.
So we fixed that, and then I don't know. After we fixed that, it seems like things have been going pretty good. We went on a few dates.
That's great.
We had a good time. Yeah, we haven't really done anything this week to anger me.
I'm glad to hear that. Do you feel like since you fixed that situation between you and him, were you able to get a better night's sleep?
I definitely go to bed happier, and I'm not over. I actually haven't been overthinking as much lately since our session where you've been advising me to kind of speak up more and tell him how I was feeling, etc. There's obviously still some anxiety about what the future holds, but I've kind of been pretty good keeping it at bay, I think, or just keep my mind busy enough to keep my thoughts in good.
I'm glad to hear that. So tell me how your bedtime was last night. How did your bedtime routine look like?
Well, I actually went to bed pretty late last night because I saw him and it was like 2 in the morning, or 2 or 3 in the morning before I went to sleep. So the sleeping pattern was not okay yesterday.
And that's okay. Sometimes, things happen in our day that change our course and schedule. But once you did get home, were you able to sleep okay, or were you laying awake thinking?
Usually I turn on like a movie or something to fall asleep. I remember turning the movie on. I just don't remember when I fell asleep. It's kind of instant. Like I don't feel like I spent too long staring at the walls. I do think that keeping the other activities outside of the room has helped a lot because now as soon as I walk in the room, my body starts to naturally get tired and stuff.
That's good. I'm really happy to hear that. So on a scale of 0 to 10, how do you feel right now? With 0 being you're anxious and 10 you're being relaxed.
I think I'm like at a 6, only because I'm in summer classes right now.
Okay.
So the semester's about to end, so I feel a little anxious about all of the work that's lying now coming to an end. I have been procrastinating a little bit, trying to balance schoolwork and enjoying the summer at the same time. Only because I'm so used to being a type A person, like always setting a deadline for myself, always being ambitious, always trying to overachieve my own goals that I've already accomplished. So this summer I kind of tried to not only be educational but kind of relax at the same time. So the work is kind of creeping up.
Okay. And that's understandable with a lot of work we have to do in such a short period of time. So how can we get you to a 7? Or what can we do to get yourself to a 7?
Um, Probably just completing one of the assignments and then I feel like at least one of them is finally complete. I don't have to worry about too much um, pieces to put together. But that's my responsibility to finish to finish all of them. But kind of closing out in the semester is my job.
And how many classes are you taking?
2.
2. Okay. And are the deadlines close together? Or you have time
They're
in
like
between?
a few days away from each other.
Okay. So what can we do to alleviate some of that pressure? Since I know you said you like to procrastinate.
Uh, I think I'm done for the weekend. Done going to parties.
Mhm.
I feel like I'm gonna retire from being outside and just kind of retreat and hibernate to get my work done.
Sounds like a plan.
Let's hope it is.
So I just want to take a step back. I also, to our last session where you did mention that you were feeling lonely, and I had told you to write a list of why you were feeling lonely. Were you able to do that?
Yeah. Um, I kind of came to the conclusion that loneliness is something that will or has been following me for a long time. Um, I'm the middle child, so even though I wasn't born at like an only child, like I have siblings and stuff. Either they're older than me or they're younger than me. I'm just like smack in the middle. So the oldest is always getting attention and extra help from the parent, and then the youngest is being babied by the parent. And then the parents just assume the middle child is okay, then they'll figure it out. And that's kind of how it's been my whole life. Just me, myself, and I. I had my first job at 16. Uh, I'm 5 years from 30 now, and I don't remember a time where I wasn't working just because I felt like I always had to wait for my mom. Like, if I had to my mom for something, I always had to wait because she either had to, like, pay my sister's school tuition, my older sister's school tuition, or when my sister got married, they had to put all the money there. So I was just like, I had enough, and I was just gonna carry my own weight, and that turned into a quarter century or whatever that one, 16 to 25. It's a couple of years since I've been kind of taking care of myself. Uh, yeah. If my mom gives me something, it's because she wants to, not because I asked. And my sister, she has 3 kids, so she's always doing her kids. And my younger sister, she's 21, so she's trying to figure out her own life. So I'm just every point. My brothers are older, younger, work, so it's just always me.
Have you ever voiced this to anybody in your family about how you felt?
Mm. I would, I would, I would say I tried, but that might be a lie. You know, when you're in a situation, it's so apparent to you, and you're just looking at people around you like, if I can see it, why can't you? That should be the explanation enough.
Yeah.
So I haven't really been like, listen, man, I feel like you guys are all around me. So I just try to. That's pretty much why I've been going out more because I don't want to feel lonely.
So what do you feel you can do to try and ease that loneliness at home?
Yeah. I mean, I know they say you're supposed to be content in your own space, like be comfortable enough with yourself.
But who
And
says that?
people that in order to make basically to date yourself before you date other people or spend time with yourself, love yourself type of thing. And I feel like I've done that, but sometimes you don't hold. And I have no problem being alone. Like I think I said in one of our sessions, I'm an extrovert with a time, not a time restriction, but like an expiration time. Like I can be social, I'm sociable, but once I want to be by myself, like I just retreat and like I want to be in silence. But then sometimes the silence is definitely, and you just want to hear somebody's voice other than your own.
I understand what you're saying. I live alone too, so I can see that even though there's a lot of people around you, it's kind of like living on your own because you don't have anybody really to talk to at home. So, do you feel like maybe it would do some good for you to voice this to your family? Maybe you're not the only one feeling lonely.
I know I'm not the only one feeling lonely, but my culture, the Haitian people,
Mm-hmm.
they're very complicated,
Mm-hmm.
and I love being Haitian to an extent, but as far as parenting, they exemplify so much of giving you only what they know, like what they received, and
Mm-hmm.
just there's just a long generational line of not receiving the proper affection from their parents and their parents' parents and their parents' parents. So they don't really know what to do. So they only do the best they can. In Haiti, they're only raised to go to church, go to school, and come home. And my sisters, we were born in America, but my brothers, they were born in Haiti. So they had that lifestyle, but even when they moved to New York, like they completely forgot about that lifestyle. So just imagine me and my sisters who were born in America. My parents try to enforce that homeschool church thing, and I mean we do it. We've been doing it since we were kids, but I just can't say that's how I see my whole entire life going. Like I want to visit other countries, etc. And then they're always when you try and step out of that church school um, home thing, it like freaks them out, and they get super helicopter parents. You can't go, and I'm looking at them confused. I'm 25. I mean, like they always say Haitian parents will keep parenting you until they die, but I feel like parenting happens in stages, and they just don't get that. Like as a toddler, an adolescent, a young adult, of course you're telling the kid like you should do this, you should do that, or do this, do that. But at 25, I think that's well off the child making their own choices. Just every time I want to do something, I don't want to hear a lecture on why I shouldn't do it, or that you prefer I stay inside the house. That and being inside the house is not an issue, but I don't want to be inside the house and let it kill me, staring at the same four walls.
So, how do you feel your church, your religion like blends in with your family culture?
Oh, it's hard to separate the two, and it will forever be hard to separate the two because my parents are pastors. My parents are my pastors. My pastors are my parents, and they're the type of parents and pastors that don't know how to separate the two. It's like,
Church and state.
yeah, you.
Sorry, give me 1 second. There you go.
It's like you're playing outside. You cut your knee. You come back inside and you're like, Mom, I cut my knee, but you don't get Mom. You get Pastor, and she's like, Well, I told you to sit down. The Bible says that children should obey their parents, and you're just like, I just wanted my mom. I didn't want a pastor. And every single scenario of my life has been like a pastoring moment for them and not a mom and dad moment. It just always feels like I'm talking to the pastors.
And you've never voiced this to them?
We've tried. They don't get it.
How did you try?
I mean, me and my sisters have tried to stand around and talk to them like regular, normal conversations, and then they get frustrated and they get upset and basically lecture us biblically to death, and then we just give up. And I personally feel like if they cared, they would try. So I've just kept in my head that they don't care.
So I can't speak for your parents, but I know that sometimes when we are raised a certain way, it's really hard to see anything else. And we just have our mindset on this is right. And we could be caring so much, but this is all we know. So this is how we're gonna show our love to somebody. That's the only way we know how to. So I'm not sure if your grandparents were also pastors.
Mm-mm. And my grandmother was religious, but every single one of them has passed. And they don't really have much stories about them, just a lot of horror stories about how they got beat
Mm.
and stuff like that. So they don't really have much to offer on that front. And I'm not saying my parents are horrible parents. They're just, mm, they want the best for you and they make you want the best for yourself. Like the way we were raised to have clean shoes, clean outfit because anywhere you go, you could be going to the corner store. You need to have a proper outfit on because you never know what's gonna happen. So like the way I carry myself is different. Like I can tell it's definitely different than the kids that I see nowadays or the young women I see nowadays. But they just they're not progressive. They haven't adapted to the world around them. They're like in this bubble, and that bubble is what they're gonna stay in until the day the Lord calls them home. And I can't say I've accepted it because it still frustrates me, but I just know that it gives off a little bit of toxicity, and I just don't want to fight with anyone anymore because it wears me out. So as long as I know I'm doing right, then I just try to live my life that way. Like listen to them and know that I'm doing the right thing, not the wrong thing. Not like being a hypocrite, not listening to them or pretending that I'm listening to them and I'm outside acting a fool. Like I always keep in the back of my head, not only is God watching, but my parents are probably somewhere watching too. So I try to always be on my best behavior, but that kind of gets tiring. Um, Feeling like you can't walk the earth and make a mistake because like you're gonna be judged. And I feel like I've been like that my whole life because there's no separation between church and home. Like, even though I don't live near my church, I feel like there's just like church people wandering around my house, like on watch, just to catch me and my sister doing something for them to report back. Because even in church, you can't be normal. Even in church, they're looking at you, looking at the pastor's kids. What are the pastor's kids doing? What are they wearing? What are they saying? What are they not saying? And it's just always, it's exhausting feeling like you're always being watched by people who kind of have no business watching, like they would be watching themselves and their own children.
So in a way, you're almost like a celebrity. So everybody's in your business, constantly putting you on the spotlight.
My dad's analogy is that we're like the first family, and that's like so much pressure. I already have enough things going on in life. I don't need more pressure. Like I'm a poster child or something.
So your family has a hard time separating church and family, right? What about you? What's preventing you from going to seek, services elsewhere at a different church where your parents are not the pastors? You're still practicing your religion.
I thought about it, but the Haitian community is such a close knit thing, and you wouldn't even know it. But like once you're in a custom, you stepping out of that custom, you're basically like, if I leave, they're basically gonna look at me like I did something wrong, which is why I left. Like, or my parents had to kick me out. And I've thought about it. Like, I don't plan on staying in New York forever. I plan on like going to another state. And I'm just like, what's gonna happen if I leave? But I feel like I shouldn't have to live my life like that. Like, what's gonna happen to the church if I leave? What's gonna happen to my parents if I leave? Like, I keep trying to put in my head that everybody's life is gonna go on. They're gonna find somebody to do whatever it is that I was doing there.
And what were you doing there?
Like being a worship leader or sing on the backup team or play an instrument there. But it's just in the Haitian community, the way they parent you, you just never know when's the right, like you never know when's the right time that you have permission to do something. It's like you're always on a short leash. My sister has 3 kids, and I still don't feel like she's out here making her own decision. I still feel like secretly she's going to my parents asking for permission to do stuff. And it's just very weird. And it's probably kept me from doing a lot of things in my life because I wanted to travel, but every time I get the courage enough to book a plane ticket, I'm like, oh, I'm booking this plane ticket, but then I have to go back and explain to my parents that I'm going on vacation. Then they're going to ask me who's going, and then they're going to question who am I going with. And even if I'm going alone, they're not going to believe me. I'm going to have to prove I'm going alone. Then when I get there, I'm going to have to send them pictures to ensure them that I'm alone. And then I have to call them every day because if I don't call them every day, they're going to be stressed out. And then when I come back from vacation, I'm going to be stressed out because they're going to be looking at me sideways because I didn't call them every day, every single day on my vacation. And then we're not going to talk for like a couple of days or maybe a week. And then everything's just going to go back to normal in some toxic ass cycle. And it's just very weird and tiring.
So what's one thing you can do to break this cycle?
I feel like I've been doing that. Like I said, I listen to them, but I just make sure, as far as my life goes, as long as I'm not out here disgracing the Bible, like I'm okay.
Okay.
Like as long as I know I'm doing right in this life. which I feel like I am. I'm not doing anything crazy. I don't work right now because I'm disabled. So all I do is go to school, go to church, and if nobody invites me outside, I go home. Or I sit outside on my front steps with my dogs and just let them run around. That's all I do with my life. And still sometimes the days that I actually do go outside and I come home like maybe 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, they're waiting up for me to give me a lecture on how I'm trying to kill them by giving them a heart attack because I'm coming home at 11 p.m. And I stand there and I'm looking at myself like they do realize I'm 25, right?
Did you tell them that you're saying?
I don't think I mean, they did give birth to me. I don't think I need to remind them that I'm 25.
I mean, believe it or not, sometimes parents forget their kids are growing up. They just still have that baby mentality, like this is my baby. You're always gonna be their kid to them.
And I think that's where we get the biggest conflict because I feel like I've been an adult my whole life. Like I was paying my first car note when I was 18. So like I've been paying my own bills since I was 16. So like I've been an adult. So you can't really. I feel like now they're picking and choosing when I'm an adult. You let me pay all my bills, but then when I go outside, you're telling me to come inside because it's this certain time. That's a little weird.
So you feel like they shouldn't baby you now, since they let you basically grow up as an adult since you were a teenager.
Yeah.
So it seems your relationship with your parents is a little bit strained because of religion and the culture. Do you have conversations with your parents outside of those things? Like you tell them what you're interested in, how your day goes,
Yeah.
anything like that?
But that only lasts like for so long because they do something and make it weird, and then you just don't want to talk to them anymore. Yeah. It's not even really strange. It's just suffocating. Like it's suffocating to have to repeat yourself every day. Or like when you wake up and you don't know how your day is gonna go, but you know you have one thing on schedule to do. Where are you going? I'm going to the pharmacy. And then I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? I don't know what's gonna happen after that. I don't know where the wind is gonna blow me. And then whatever happens throughout the day, maybe you were spending some time alone, et cetera, you come home and it's just like, you just told me you were going to the pharmacy. Where were you? I don't know what to do with that.
So they're basically scheduling your every move, or they expect you to have it scheduled out.
Right. Over here.
When was the last time you told your parents how you feel about their parenting style?
I wouldn't really call it telling them how I feel, but I kind of exploded maybe the beginning of the month or the ending of June. I think I came home. No, I think it was 2 weekends ago. My aunt, she came back from the Navy, and she's not like an older woman. She's like my grandfather was promiscuous and had a kid at an old age. Well, he was old, but she's young. So I have a 20-year-old aunt, and she came home from the Navy, so we were just hanging out, and she's getting deployed, so we were just like literally hanging out, trying to do as much as we can before she goes away for a year or whatever. So I took her to a sorority party, and we came home around 11, and my parents were sleeping, so they didn't recognize that we all came home. And then when they woke up, I guess, like they were looking for me, but I had already like took my dogs and went outside with them. And my mom was just like, "Where were you?" Mind you, I'm in a whole like in-house dress. Like I'm not properly dressed. Like what I was wearing, I would never wear outside on purpose to go out. And she was just like, "Where were you?" And I'm like, "Outside the front of the house." No, you weren't. I went to the window to look for you. If you went to the window to look for me, I would have seen you because I was outside looking at the window. And then she's like, but we're I'm like, and then I exploded. I was like, I've spent 8 months inside. Like, I've been disabled since December.
Mm-hmm.
I've spent every waking moment here. Unless I'm going to school, I don't go anywhere. Unless I'm going to a doctor's appointment, I don't go anywhere. Like, I'm just here all the time. Like, what else do you want from me? What else do you want me to do? And I just exploded. And she was just like, I hear all of that, but where were you tonight? So it's like I'm talking to you and you're not listening. All you worried about is where was I? And I already told you that I was at the front of the house. So I just walked away because I wasn't going to repeat myself again.
Do you feel like you exploded due to pent up frustration that you have with them? Like it was building
No,
over
definitely,
time?
definitely. I feel like you tried well, I'm not going to speak for my sister, but I've tried to explain. Like sometimes I just need to not be in the house. Like you have two toddlers who are screaming their heads off during the day, and then you have a baby. My sister just had another baby. You have an infant who's crying or making noise or doing something. Then I have two dogs at home, and one of them thinks he's a guard dog, so he like barks his head off whenever somebody approaches where he's at or whatever. And then you just have the constant people walking inside and outside of the house and the noise, and you just want to not be in the house sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just it. They just expect me to be locked away as if being outside is like forbidden or something.
Maybe they're just worried that something might happen to you.
I don't think I'm really, I mean, it's not an easy thing for me to do. Uh, my parents, not my parents, but my sisters say I'm my parents' golden child, like they love me so much, etc. And I guess it's not easy to see the golden child almost die twice and be paralyzed for a whole month. So I know they're worried, but that worry shouldn't turn into suffocation because that's just not healthy. Like I still need to go outside and develop my brain cells and stuff like that.
Can you tell me a time when you were happy with your parents?
It was probably after my first car accident where I um my first car accident was a hard one for me because that car was my first luxury car that I had bought myself after all of my hard work for basically taking care of myself most of my life. I wouldn't say most of my life, but my teenage years. So I was like, you know what, I'm a hard worker. I've been working for so long, can't remember the last time I took a day off. So for my 21st birthday, I bought a, I bought a Mercedes. And it wasn't just like a regular Mercedes that you picked up from the lot that they had. Like I went and I customized it so everything was like personable to me. Like my car was the only car in New York that looked the way that it did, type of thing. And then in the blink of an eye, I lost my car. Sorry.
It's okay. It's not easy. something that you've been dealing with for years now.
And I believe that I had lost my car. So, and I had broken my ankle. I damaged my neck. Completely tore my shoulder, and I had spine problems. So I was just lost and broken. I was trying to figure out my life. So I became very depressed because I lost my brother in a car accident literally 3 months prior. So I was just tired of all the loss. And I was going under surgeries like it was nobody's business. Ankle surgery, neck, shoulder, back. So my mom got tired of me laying in the bed. So she told me to go outside with her, and we started spending so much time together. Like we were just always talking and spending time together. And me and my parents got really close. And I guess just time passing by, we just lost that connection.
Do you want to rebuild that connection?
I don't even know. I I've been dealing with this for like 3 years now. I still feel like nobody understands what I'm going through. Sometimes I don't even know how I get up in the morning because my body is like screaming because I'm in pain. But everybody around me just thinks just because that accident has passed, like everything is just fine. But there's like residual damage. And nothing I say, nothing I do is gonna fix my arm, my neck, whatever. And I'm just so tired of taking medications and stuff. And all my parents care about is me going to church and doing what I'm supposed to do. But it's just like, how can I do that if I don't feel okay? And it's kind of exhausting pretending to be okay all the time.
So why do you pretend? It's okay not to be okay.
People don't really give me that option.
So give yourself that option. You don't need nobody's permission to make you feel like you can just not be okay. If you're not okay, take a moment for yourself and just accept that it's okay to have bad days and to be in pain, and you have to work on yourself. Right? I think you pretending to be okay gives people that false idea that you are okay. You don't understand that you're not. You don't. You, despite you being in pain, you've come a long way. You've come a long way. You said you were paralyzed for a month, and look at you. You're moving normally, right? You're doing great. I know you're in pain, but you have to like really be proud of yourself as well because you've been through a lot, and yet you're sitting here. You know, you're taking classes. You're trying to get your master's. You're dating, right? You're dealing with parent issues like the rest of the people are, and you're moving around like a boss, man. Like, come on. Like, be seriously proud of yourself. It's not no easy thing learning how to redo all that stuff again. It's not. So give yourself some slack and allow yourself to feel what you need to feel. Because bottling it in and like not feeling it is just gonna make it that worse. Just allow yourself to be in the moment. I know you're trying to be strong for everybody around you, but you need to like give yourself what you need to make yourself feel better. I'm glad you shared that with me. And I'm so sorry about your mother. I know that's not normal. It's hard to deal with loss. It's hard. And I think your parents don't come from ill will. I think they're just afraid. That's what it is. It's not that they're trying to make you miserable, they're just afraid. So I think maybe, you know, allow them to understand what you're going through. Yeah. Don't shut them out. Don't shut your family out. And hopefully that will like ease the loneliness that you're feeling.
I haven't cried.
And how do you feel now that you did?
I still feel
It's
the
okay.
tears pumped up in the back of my eye.
That's because you've been holding it in for so long. It's okay to let it out. Sometimes all we need is a good cry. Like you releasing all that negative energy and all that hurt and pain, you're just releasing it. And it's okay to release it. There's no problem. No problem. It doesn't make you weak. It makes you strong. Okay. You need to release it. Otherwise, it takes a toll on your body when you hold all that hurt in. Believe me.
I might be crying for the next 3 years then.
And that's okay.
I haven't cried.
There's no time limit for you to heal. Give yourself whatever you need. Allow yourself to cry. If you need to cry every day, cry every day. There's nothing wrong with that. If you want to take a walk and cry, you can do that. You need to find a space in your house that you can just cry in peace. Find it. Make it feel. But don't hold it back. If you want to cry, just let that. Let it out. So your homework for tonight is going to be allowing yourself to cry and allowing yourself to feel that emotion. Okay? I want you to make a list of everything you haven't done because you're afraid of what other people will say or how other people will feel about it. And I want you to try to do those things. Okay? Like, for example, one thing is you haven't cried in a while. Cry, right? You want to go out and have some fun, let your parents know to or not, up to you. Go have some fun. Right? Try to worry about precious, not about mom, not about dad, not about anybody, just what precious wants to do. Okay? Be kind to yourself, be easy on yourself, and be proud of yourself because listen, if that was me, I'll probably still be in bed. Tell you. I'll be moping and groping, so seriously, you're very strong. You're very strong. and I'm proud of you. So, at any point in time, you can terminate the session. Or if you would like to continue the session, we can still continue the session, okay? How are you feeling? From 0 to 10.
Shed some tears.
That's good. Are you gonna shed some more tears tonight? I'm glad. I'm glad the gate has been opened. So, it was good seeing you, Precious. And I hope to see you again soon. Okay.
Thank you.